Hello and welcome to Retro Reviews, my channel where I review my favorite retro video games of all time, as well as some modern releases. Today I want to look back at a retro video game that I absolutely adore, a cult classic that finally got a sequel decades later. I'm going to be looking at Psychonauts from Double Fine Productions. This game has become a cult classic because of how fantastic and brilliant it was, but it didn't sell super well back in the day. And there are a variety of reasons. It came out at a time where people just weren't as interested in 3D platformers. It was a little weird and wacky and out there. It was Tim Schafer, so it was kind of a toss-up whether it was going to be a huge hit or something that just kind of fell by the wayside. But regardless of whether it was going to be a hit or not, it was going to be a fantastic game because Double Fine makes really wonderful games. I have been there for games like Day of the Tentacle and Full Throttle, Grim Fandango. I love the point-and-click adventure games that Tim Schafer has been a part of and made. I really enjoyed those, and so seeing this 3D platform that he made, I was really intrigued. It was one of those games that I think went on sale, or maybe it was free for PS Plus. I don't remember what happened, but I'd heard enough about Psychonauts and how it was this overlooked gem way back in the PS2 original Xbox era of games, and I really wanted to try it out. I think I got it on sale for really, really cheap on the PlayStation 4, and I had an absolute blast. So if you don't know what Psychonauts is, you play as a little kid named Rasputin who comes to the summer camp trying to train to become a psychonaut, or someone that does like brain espionage and try to help people and do some espionage in people's brains to try and uncover secrets and do a whole lot of variety of things. It's a really interesting premise. You're just a kid at a summer camp trying to become a psychonaut, and you're learning from these actual psychonauts that go out into the field and do this for their career. You'll learn a lot of different skills, like being able to use a psi blast out of your mind. You can light things on fire with your pyrokinesis. You can use telekinesis to move things with your brain. You'll unlock a variety of different badges, these merit badges, that will give you the ability to utilize these abilities here as you progress throughout the story. That will help you to uncover new secrets, explore the world, and do a variety of things. I think it's really brilliant how they center this around kind of like a Boy Scouts summer camp type thing. I think it's a really funny premise. I like that the teachers at this camp are like hardcore government agency psychonauts here. I like the idea of how zany and wacky this all is being put together, and you're just with a bunch of kids that want to be psychonauts, that have these these powers, these abilities that let them become a psychonaut if they can train hard enough and can show that they have enough promise, because becoming a psychonaut is very difficult. But while you're at the summer camp, a lot of crazy and shady things start to happen, and you get embroiled in this mess trying to sort out what's going on. Eventually you'll find out that the main bad guy is stealing brains from the kids and trying to stop the psychonauts in their tracks, doing all sorts of awful things, and it becomes less of like it has kind of like a kid's aesthetic. This is definitely like a T-rated game, but it looks very kid-friendly. It's very colorful and bright, but the more you play it, the more it gets very adult and more serious and has some very like interesting questions that it poses. It's very, very cerebral as well, and that's where Psychonauts really shines. The gameplay definitely feels kind of dated. It feels like the 2000s era of video games. It doesn't feel the most tight at times, but it is incredibly well put together for the most part. I would say 95% of the times this game performs the way you expect it to do. You'll unlock abilities like this is a typical 3D platform. You'll do things like some parkouring. You have a double jump. You'll get abilities where you can like float with a psycho balloon. You can use like a ball underneath you that you can jump on and roll on and go super fast. Those will help advance your movement capabilities in the world and help it to become a more dynamic world to explore. It's very, very cool the way that you get these abilities as well. You usually help out the Psychonauts teachers that are these special agents that will give you these abilities because you're the one that can help them further the research and further uncovering this dark plot that's going on behind the scenes. Because you're one of the only kids that doesn't get their brain stolen at some point, you're the only one that can really help out. And you're really good at what you do as well. it's funny the way that the kids treat you in the camp. Everyone is very standoffish. You won't make a whole lot of friends. And the friends you do make are kind of weird and wacky. Everyone's got their own issues and things that they're dealing with, and their own personalities. They're very unique and bombastic. It's really funny how Rasputin interacts with all the kids. There are tons of side quests that you can do throughout the camp as well to level yourself up. You can find Psy cards, a collectible that if you get enough of them, and a Psy core, you level up your character. You can get all the way to level 100, which is really cool. And as you level up, you'll get access to more abilities and more things that can help you progress throughout the story and find these more secrets and explore the world more fully. You'll also work with the Psychonauts to unlock people's brains. You'll often get to places where you can't progress the story any further because you have someone in the way that could help you, but they're dealing with some mental stress. So you essentially put a door on the back of their head, you go inside their mind, and you sort out their problems. While you're in someone's mind, it's really beautiful what they've constructed for each and every character that you go in to infiltrate. Each person's brain has its own theme based on the person themselves. You'll have like a luchador theme at one of the areas. You'll have a war-torn theme for Coach Oleander, who used to be like in the military and is now a teacher and a coach. You have one for the teacher that's more like chill and psychedelic, and it very much feels like that inside her mind. Every mind that you go into has a different theme based on the person that you're going for. It's a brilliant way to give you some uniqueness to each and every world, while also making them not feel like they're just too disjointed in their own thing. They can be disjointed because you're infiltrating somebody's brain. This is their own personal worldview that you're going into. It's brilliant. Collectibles inside the brain include things like figments of your imagination that will also reflect the things going on in their mind. You'll have different shapes that look like personifications of their thoughts. You'll also find emotional baggage, which is like literal like luggage and suitcases and stuff that you have to find a baggage tag for to unlock their emotional baggage and help them heal, essentially. You'll find cobwebs gumming up their brain that you can't get past unless you have a special tool. You'll also find memory vaults that give you some insight into what the person has gone through in their past, which lets you infer things about their present and about what they're going to be doing in their future. It's brilliant the way that you can uncover more secrets going into people's brains than even they were wanting you to see. Even if you're going in voluntarily, you might find things that they didn't expect you to find. There's the bright, colorful world that you go into. One area that you find is really dark and scary. It looks like they've locked some things away, and it's kind of alarming to find. There's nothing really to do in there. It's just a piece of that person's brain that you see. It's really cool how you are helping out each and every person that you go into because they have their own kind of mental problems that they're trying to work through. And as you sort them out and you come out of their mind, they are more able to cope with their problems and they can help you out to help you progress the story. It's a brilliant mechanic. I think it's so special that they were able to do something like this. It's so unique. I've never seen anything close to a mechanic like this. And everyone's mind is completely different in the way that you explore as well. There's one world that is very weird how you get around the world. It's like the world shifts with you. You can like walk up the walls and suddenly it turns and rotates and you're facing forward. It's like a small planet that you're on that you're constantly rotating. It's just genius. The platforming itself works super well in these instances because they've designed it just beautifully. Each and every world is so beautifully designed, and it's crazy that you can have something where you're literally walking upside down and it feels completely natural to be controlling in. I think Double Fine really knocked it out of the park with this. You also have little enemies that you fight throughout the world. In your main hub world at the camp, you have animals that you can interact with and do things to. You can like look through their eyes to see what they can see, and sometimes they see secrets in the world. You can fight them as well. Some of them are antagonistic and there are little trophies attached to doing certain things to certain animals. They're also inside the mind. There are different things like sensors that go on to like try and stamp you out, to try and protect the brain from invaders, which is a really beautiful idea. There are also bosses in each and every world, which is, I think, for the most part works fine. Thematically, they all work really, really well. I think they're a brilliant they're brilliantly implemented. Mechanically, they're not always the best. The bosses are pretty hit and miss. Otherwise, they're not the most fun to fight sometimes. But for the most part, I think they're really a lot of fun to fight. Again, some of them feel like a product of the time. Maybe it just feels like they had to put a boss fight in here. It's not the most fun, maybe, but they are very serviceable and fit the theme, and which is the most important part here. I usually prioritize gameplay and the mechanics way more than I prioritize story and themes, but in this instance, they just incorporate it so well, and it's such a important part of the entire story and part of the game itself that this really takes center stage, and the gameplay just services this beautiful world and progressing through it and the story that they're trying to tell. I really love Psychonauts. It is one of those games that if you can deal with it feeling maybe a little bit dated and go back and spend just a couple dollars when it goes on sale, you will find one of the most brilliant and underrated exclusive video games you've ever tried out. It's on all the storefronts now. It's on PlayStation 4, it's on Xbox, you can get it on PC. I've gotten it for free on PC randomly. This is one of those games that you absolutely should go out and try. Just a couple of bucks, you will not regret it. I'm going to be giving Psychonauts a platinum rank. Thank you so much, and I'll see you on the next one.